Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name is Liddy if you're new to the channel, and I talk a lot about manga recommendations, lots of things that I buy, and my collection of course. But yeah, today I'm going to be doing a recommendations video. It was Pride Month last month in June, and I read a lot of boys love and girls love as well, and I wanted to do a specific video recommending boys love and girls love. So I'm going to be doing it in two separate videos. So this week is going to be all my BL recommendations, and then next week I'll be talking about all my GL and Yuri series. Let's get started and I'll tell you what my top favorites are. Just a disclaimer, these are my personal favorite BL series. Some of them may not appeal to you, and I will definitely let you know what some of them are about. So if they're not your kind of thing, then obviously you don't need to pick them up. But yeah, these are just the ones that I enjoyed and ones that I would personally recommend to try, but obviously everyone's tastes are a little bit different, so that's completely up to you whether you try them or not. So the first one I want to talk about is definitely one of my all-time favorite BL series, and not a lot of people talk about this one specifically because it is quite an older series. It was also really hard to purchase because it was published by June, which was an imprint by Digital Manga Publishing, and they've actually done a reprint of this series, and it should be out this month, I think in July. So perfect timing. It is Even So I Will Love You Tenderly by Kou Yoneda. Kou Yoneda is also one of the BL mangakas that I really enjoy and have been enjoying for a very long time. I used to read most of her works online because a lot of them weren't published in English, and she does a lot of one-shots and things like that, obviously, that aren't published, and this is one of my favorites of hers. This is a one-shot, and it also ties into the story of another series, which is No Touching at All, which also got a re-release this year. A lot of people have been saying that that's their favorite, but this personally is my favorite, and this is the continuation story, basically focusing on some of the side characters that were introduced in No Touching at All, especially this guy called Onoda. He was one of the characters in No Touching at All, who was the boss of one of the guys in the main story, but it's his story, and it's not office based, but it's two office workers. They both work at two different companies, and this guy Deguchi, he ends up meeting Onoda at a bar, like with some mutual friends, and he and Onoda become really close, and they basically hang out, become really good friends, and eat dinner together and just like talk about loads of stuff. Deguchi is a 30-year-old man, and he is also gay, but he doesn't really talk about it openly, of course, and he just kind of hooks up with people here and there. Once their friendship starts, he falls in love with Onoda, and Onoda is known to be straight, so he has no romantic feelings for men, and he is been in love with Onoda for the 3 years of their friendship. So it's unrequited love story, and then obviously later on their kind of friendship develops, and then he ends up actually kind of suggesting to Onoda to go out, and that he actually confesses to him, and it's just so, it was heartbreaking, like some of the panels in here where you see Deguchi's expression is just like, you can feel the pain that he has with this unrequited love, and it is so relatable if you've had unrequited love before. Onoda is just really funny. I really like him. He's just like a cool dude. He's a little bit like, he's just like a big fluff ball, and he's very dependable as well, and I just love their relationship together. Their relationship is so sweet and just so cute, and I've reread this particular one shot about 5 times at least, and that's how much I love it, and it's just so good. I definitely recommend you to read No Touching at All first and then read this one just to get a little bit more context. It's just a great friendship to lovers story. I don't know if I explained that very well, but their dynamic is really cute. Their friendship is really cute. I really love Deguchi So there's spoilers in this story, I would say, where he does say stuff like, oh, you're straight so you wouldn't understand kind of thing, which is kind of like old BL style where, you know, even if they're going out, he's still referred to as straight, and I know that's a lot of people don't like that. So but it definitely is reminiscent of like an old school like boys love where they do that. So that's one thing that I don't like and think it's like not good, but I still really love this story, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. It has a lot of nostalgia to me as well because I've read it like a long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago. So yeah, I really love it, really cute, definitely recommend this one. And the next BL that I really love and think is really cute is Our Dining Table. This one is just so sweet, very cute, very sugary sweet. It has no explicit content as well if you're looking for a really cute BL to like dive into, to try out if you haven't been within the genre. If you haven't tried within the genre before, then this one is definitely a good starting point. But it's basically about two people who meet, and one of them has a child from his previous relationship, and one of them, this guy Yutaka, he struggles with eating in front of people. It's kind of like, I think there is a specific eating disorder for that kind of thing where you don't like eating in front of people, but he struggles with that. But despite the fact that he's really good at cooking, and he meets these people one day where this little kid is lost in the park, and then he's really hungry, and then he offers the kid some like rice balls, I think. It's been a while since I read it, and he's like, oh, this is so yummy. And then the dad comes in, and basically they continuously get closer together. The dad starts inviting Yutaka over for dinner, and then he kind of starts to find himself more comfortable with sharing meals with people through their friendship and closeness, and it's just really cute. And obviously their relationship develops between each other, and the kid is so cute. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the manga that I've read have like children characters in them. I really enjoy those dynamics, like family dynamics in manga, and then just when there's like a little cute kid in there as well. So yeah, I really love this one. Super sweet, and it's a one shot as well, so not a lot of investment if you're looking for something cute to try out in the BL verse. And then kind of on the similar theme, we also have another manga with a really cute kid in there. And this one is Delinquent Daddy Tender Teacher. It's basically about two people who used to go to high school together. And I don't really know why the dad is called the Delinquent Daddy, because in this volume, he's not really a delinquent. He just kind of dresses not like a typical upstanding citizen of society, but it's fine. And basically they used to be high school friends, and this guy Hitsuji basically had a crush on this guy Hatoyama, and obviously he never said anything, and then they went on their lives, and then they're now in the adult life, and he is a teacher, and he is a teacher for this little kid. And then he finds out that this kid's dad is the guy that he used to fancy back in high school. And then obviously through the kid, they end up going closer together because he helps the dad with the kid, because the dad basically was in a relationship and then they split up, and then the girl ended up giving the kid to the guy to take care of. So he's like a newly found father, because I think something happened where the girl basically didn't want anything to do with dad, and then so he never really got to know his son. But then later on something happens with her, and then he ends up getting custody of his son instead, and so he's trying to figure out how to become a good father, and then he seeks advice from the kid's teacher, and so their relationship starts to develop. And the little boy is also really cute in this story, and yeah, it's just really sweet. It's really cute. I'm really excited to see how the relationship develops, and I almost sucker for like stories like this. So yeah, I really like this one. And another really sweet story in my opinion is Cherry Magic, and the title is gonna throw a lot of people off at the start. It's like Cherry Magic 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, and it sounds really weird, but it is so wholesome. Like, this series is one of the most wholesome BLs that I've read in a very long time. It is about a guy called Adachi. This one, he's quite shy, he's quite timid, and he's just staying in his own lane, trying to do all his work and just be a good worker. But then once he hits 30, he starts getting this magical ability where he can read people's thoughts when he like touches them. So he has like this newfound like ability, and then he ends up bumping into this really cool guy called Kurosawa, who is basically like the office dreamboat. He's also really popular with everyone, with the workers. He's really talented, he's good at his job, he's also really good looking, and he finds out through that touch that Kurosawa has actually been in love with Adachi for like a while. And Adachi is first like, what the hell, like, I'm such a loser, why does Kurosawa like me? And then he starts to kind of notice Kurosawa's feelings for him through touch. You know, he can read his mind. And then they start getting closer together during their like office times, when like Adachi is staying late to like fix some of the work issues. And so they grow closer together, and then their blossoming relationship is really, really cute. I highly recommend it. I did find that some people thought the drawings of the characters were a little strange, like the way their noses are drawn, I guess, but I really like it. And I'm also a really big sucker for office romances. I love office romances, so this one was really fun. And also this continues for at least 12 volumes at the moment, and I find that really cool. It's really rare to see like BL and GL go on for so long, so I am really loving this journey. And I've read up to volume 10, excited for volume 11 that came out I think last month. Really recommend this one, and it's also not got any like explicit content in it as well, so it's very approachable despite the title, for getting into more, you know, wholesome side of the BL. And then another one that I really, really enjoyed is Megumi and Tsugumi. This one is a little bit more for the people who are quite well versed in BL, because I would not recommend this one for newcomers to the genre, because this one has like a mature content warning, and it's definitely 18 plus, and it also is an Omegaverse, which is a kind of theme, a genre in BL that comes up quite often. If you don't know what a megaverse is, it's basically kind of derived from the animal kingdom, where there's like an alpha, omega, and a beta. Alphas are pretty much like top of the food chain. There are omegas who basically go into heat periodically, depending on like monthly or whatever, and then when they're in heat they release pheromones, and alphas are very susceptible to omega's pheromones, and then it makes them go into heat as well. So there is a lot of like sus stuff that happens in omegaverses that I've read before, so I'm not like a huge fan of them in my opinion personally, because sometimes there's a lot of like non-con, so I kind of stay away from that most of the time. But this one is really, really cute. There's a lot of talk about consent as well, which I'm really happy about, and the two talk together. And it's also really unique because it's not just like an Omegaverse and that's it, and these two are like delinquents, and I've been noticing that I really like delinquent manga. So I really obviously enjoyed this one, and it's basically about a guy Tsugumi, who is a delinquent. He kind of is known as a delinquent, but he basically kind of just seeks out alphas who are pestering omegas and just in general being like dickheads, and then he seeks them out and ice cream fan. So he basically seeks out omegas that are being trashed basically, and he kind of takes them down. And then there's a megumi who is in a different high school, which is like kind of like a top high school, and he's also really good at fighting as well. And one day he finds this girl about to get attacked by a bunch of alphas from his megumi school, and he basically crushes them, and they're like complaining about it, and then Megumi's like, okay, we're gonna go find this dude and fight with him. And then they call him out to this warehouse so that they can have a fight, and then he ends up going there, and he's obviously an omega, and then this school is full of alphas, and then when he approaches them, he is actually in heat. The alphas are all like, what the fuck, like he's emitting these pheromones, and they're all getting like really like these thoughts obviously and wanting to jump him. And then he's like, oh yeah, I just deal with it with my sheer will, I don't take any medicines and things like that. And then Megumi's kind of more on the like moral side, moral compass, where he feels like alphas shouldn't take advantage of omegas just because they're top of the food chain, and obviously it's within their animal instincts. And so he ends up dragging this guy out away and is like trying to help him escape from his friends who are basically about to attack him. And he also tries to give him medicine to like control his pheromones. He's like a nicer version of an alpha, and then their kind of dynamic starts from there, and they end up crossing paths constantly, and it's just really fun. Their dynamic is so silly, like you can just see like in the chibis like how silly they look in terms of their dynamic. It is very spicy, so do be warned of that. But there are a lot of chibi drawings in between as well, which is really cute. I love chibi drawings, honestly. Like, look at this little chibi drawing. It's so funny. But yeah, I really like these two. This is probably one of the first Omegaverse that I really, really enjoyed. So if you're looking for something in that kind of theme, but you haven't really enjoyed what you've read so far, definitely try this out. I've been recommending it to people who want to try it out as well, and they've all really enjoyed it from what I hear. So yeah. So I have two more recommendations, and another one is Intense by Kyungha Yi. This one is a manhwa, and not a lot of people talk about this one at all, mainly because it's quite obscure in terms of like availability. And I think this one is it's a really older BL as well, but this one kind of follows a very Kou Yoneda style story where it's a little bit more dark, a little bit more gritty. It focuses on the mafia, which Kou Yoneda's stories focus a lot on like yakuza and stuff, especially how One Twittering Birds Never Fly. It kind of gives me that kind of vibe, but I really enjoyed this when I read it back in the day. It's basically got quite a few trigger warnings in terms of the story, so it's not for everyone. It's basically about two people who are kind of wrapped up in the world of like thugs, mafia, in the like red light district as well, and about this guy called Jiwoon, and then he ends up getting sent to live with this other man called Suhan to basically try and dampen some of the things that have been happening with him, because he's very deadly with his knife and his skills, and he's very well renowned among like the thugs and the mafia. So to try and quell that issue, he gets sent to live with this guy, and it kind of starts from there where their relationship develops as well, and they start to learn about each other's past and their traumas. And it also involves a lot of the mafia as well that come into play later on, but it's very deep. It's a dark story. I probably wouldn't recommend this for new BL readers, but it is something that is a little bit more gritty than some of the other stories that are out there. But not a lot of people talk about this, so I really wanted to mention this one, and it's not too hard to find still. It's by Net Comics. I had to put this in the video because obviously it's one of my favorites. And then I've got another one which a lot of people have been talking about lately, and especially from the manga dudettes, because this is probably Cake Tin's one of her favorite series, and it's The Other World's Books Depend on the Bean Counter. And this one is a great story, and it is actually a unique story because it's an isekai BL, so it's a little bit more different than some of the other ones we've gotten. But it basically focuses on a guy, Kondo. He is a workaholic. He only thinks about work. He's working all the time, and one day he tries to save a girl from this summoning pool, and then he gets sucked into another world alongside her, and he's also really weak to magic molecules within that world. And so one of the knights captains called Aresh helps him to overcome some of his adversities in a intimate way. So yeah, that's really fun, but there's a lot of ongoing issues within that realm that Kondo is trying to help with in terms of within the accounting department. The kingdom is basically going into debt, so he wants to rectify that. And then there's also things going on with the Holy Maiden as well. So there's a lot of story that goes on in here, not just like the romance or the BL elements. So it's really fun. If you like isekai stories, definitely check this one out. And also it has like that sprinkle of romance BL in it, so it's really fun. So these were some of the top BL that I really enjoy personally and wanted to recommend you all. Definitely let me know if you've read any of these and you've also enjoyed them, and also recommend me some down below for me to read. I have obviously others that I've read, but I felt like these ones were the ones that stood out to me the most and I really wanted to recommend to you all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know if you did, and I'll do another video recommending some more BL series if you would like to see them. Like, comments and subscribe as always, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!